There was a tailor shop, a small tailor shop in the center of Santiago de Chile. And that tailor was really successful. He was so successful that he even managed to create a department store with the time. That department store grew, and why not? They decided to create their own loyalty card. With this loyalty card, they start having a lot of information from the customers. What, where, how often do they buy? And information is a lot of value, because you can trigger that to give the customer what they want. So this is what they did. And they actually, with the time, they became the biggest credit card issuer in Latin America, issuing 2,800,000 cards. That's a lot. So being even much bigger than most of the banks in Chile at issuing credit cards. They, of course, started to put shops in malls, getting even more information from the customer and learning much more about the customer, every time more, every time faster. So they knew what they buy, right? And why not to insure those products they were buying? So they created an insurance company, right? And they also learned that many people were there buying stuff for their trips. So why don't create a travel agency? And yes, they actually got a lot of information for the customer. So much information that they decided to found their own bank. And with banks, you get more information about what the customer buy. So why don't just selling groceries? And why not selling home stuff for houses for the people? And why not to get into the pharmacy business? And why not to get in the hardware selling business? And yeah, with all that information, we learned that now the customer cares about what? About communication. So why not to found a phone company? So that's Falabella. That's one of the companies that I'm working for. And in my opinion, the thing that they really do great is learning. Learning about the customer. They're great at that. They were supposed to be just a retailer, and instead, they have a lot of businesses around the customers and around the needs of the customers. So what is allowing them to do so? Their capability to learn. This is how they issue credit cards. They're in the department stores. You go upstairs and you ask the guys to issue a credit card for you right in that moment, right in that place. It's really fast. And then they say, why not to try to sell them, to get them issuing these credit cards directly in the department store while they buy stuff? So they decided to build this prototype so they can go around the store and see if people would be willing to do so, to issue the credit card right there while buying things. It was a success. The problem, though, is that that device is 6 kilos heavy, right? It's not a good idea to carry on that thing the whole day around the store. But now they decided to go and develop an iPad application or a tablet application so they can do that in the stores, right, without any back problems, right? Again, that was powerful because that let them learning. So how is that connected to Agile? So in my opinion, now that we are 15 years after the manifesto, which is a great thing, we need to understand agility is a different thing, something that is much bigger, something that goes beyond building software or beyond building any product. It's about the business. So how can we get value from agility in a business perspective? It's about business agility, right? And business agility was there much before any manifesto. We're just in a different environment now, in a much faster environment. So we need to be faster at learning. That's the difference. So that's how I define agility. I define agility as a capability of a business to learn. If you're able to learn from yourself and incorporate that learning, if you are able to learn about your customer and action that learning, you create business agility. You're in an agile business. There are many thought leaders out there that are already rephrasing agile. We were in the keynote yesterday, right? And we were talking about that. And also Joshua Kerievsky is talking about modern agile. Alistair Coleman is talking about the heart of agile. Jürgen Apel is talking about management for happiness. And in management for happiness, they also put a lot of focus on the importance of learning and creating environments that are able to learn. Also at Chris, talk about the importance of learning to be able to improve the experience of the customer, to give the customer what they want and what they need in every moment. Even Peter Schenge, in the 5th discipline, talk about the learning organization, how important, how critical it is nowadays to create an organization that is able to learn. So how to create that business agility? How to nurture that? Okay, we are clear with that. Learning is important. Well, for that, we need leadership. And now the problem is so complex that we need the leadership at all levels. We don't need one leader. We need different leaders that are leading in different directions in different moments. That's what we need to create, to nurture business agility, nurture learning environment. Okay, so now you're leaders. Great, we are all leaders. How? So this is my suggestion, how to become a leader or how to understand your leadership stance from the agility perspective. First off, it's very important to understand the complex nature of the problem that we have in your hands right now. So we need to learn about complexity. Of course, we need to learn about environments. We need to understand organizations and be able to understand the organization as culture, structure, and processes. On the other side, you need to understand yourself as a leader and to grow yourself as a leader. That's being a leader, acting as a leader, and creating a relationship as a leader. So interacting as a leader. Be conceived as a leader in the organization. A leader also needs to understand the constantly changing environment that he's working in, the constant change nature of organization, and try to lead the organization towards a change that is compatible with the outside world, with this new business environment that is asking us for customization. The customer wants their products made for themselves, customized for the needs. So we need to lead organizations in order to be able to connect with the customer and give them what they need. That's what we're trying to create here. The question is, are you a good leader? Are you someone that are creating that environment in your organization? How are you contributing to that in your organization? That's the question. How should I do this? Because it's also a new thing for me to learn. And it's not easy to learn at all. Well, this time it's leadership for learning. We need to lead environments. We need to lead people to encourage them to learn, being better, being faster at learning. So this is my proposal. I call this the leader dance floor, right? Because there are different stances and different understanding that the leader needs to work with to grow as a leader and to make the organization grow. There. What is learning? So learning is going through a process of first understanding, right? Having the knowledge. You have the knowledge, but that's not enough. You also need to have the experience to feel it yourself. That's the second stance. Feel it yourself, experience yourself. First step, knowledge. Second, experience. And the third is transformation. So it's the change of observer that happens within yourself, because you are now seeing the world from a different perspective. That is learning. Knowledge, experience, and transformation. And that's not easy. We have some enemies of learning, things that prevent us from learning. And as you get older, an organization can get older and get bigger, it's every time more difficult to learn. Why? Well, this understanding of learning that I'm talking about here comes from ontological coaching. And this that is applicable to yourself, I believe, it could be also applicable to organizations. This knowledge, experience, and transformation. So therefore, the enemies that are enemies for you to learn are also enemies for your organization to be able to learn. They are happening there. They're happening within your teams, they're happening within yourself, and they're happening within your organization, within your system. These enemies of learning. There are 16 enemies of learning in ontological coaching, although you can also include your own, because it's not a static thing, it's something dynamic that is changing, that is evolving. But I would underline these 6 as something that I've been seeing in my experience very often, which is the inability to say, I don't know, right? So being arrogant or being exposed is difficult. Say, I don't know, that's really difficult. This prevents us from learning. A willingness to allow other people to teach me, right? That would somehow involve that guy is smarter than I am, and I don't like that. I don't want anybody to be smarter than I am, right? As a smart guy. And the higher I am in the hierarchy, the more difficult it is, because it makes me more vulnerable, right? I don't want to be vulnerable. It's never important. Lack of priority. We have more important things to do than to learn. Feelings. If I feel resentment, if I feel fear, if I feel resignation, I won't be able to learn. If I feel anxious about things, so they are forcing me to learn this Scrum thing, this Agile thing, and I'm not really interested. I'm not really interested at that at all. I don't want that. That creates anxiety. That prevents me from learning. That prevents people from learning. The desire of being clear about what is happening. Uncertainty is part of the game. It's part of learning. You have to be uncertain. You don't know that. If you know it, you're not learning anything new. If the organization already know how to do things, they are not able to know how to do it in a different way. They're not able to learn. And of course, the inability to unlearn. Unlearning is as much important as learning. So, I want you to do now a small self-reflection. So what leadership behaviors you're seeing or you're being part of that is happening in your organization and is destructing, is preventing your organization from learning? On the other side, what helps learning? What are the friends of learning? Again, applicable to yourself, applicable to your teams, applicable to your organization. Being humble. Humble organization is an organization that is able to learn. Admitting that you don't know. Listen and being open. Being open to see what is going on out there and trying to incorporate yourself. That in you and your organization. See what's happening. Respecting others, respecting other organizations, respecting the people that is able to teach you things. And of course, willingness to question yourself. Being again a kid. Being again curious, willing to explore, willing to see what is happening there. So again, question. What leadership behaviors do you think encourage your organization to learn? How would you behave in order to encourage your organization to learn? Well, in my opinion, we need to teach people to do that. Teach people how to learn. That's coaching. In my opinion, that's agile coaching. That's what we're willing to do in organizations to make them go agile as a business. Because if we just go agile as software developers, it's not going to be enough. So we need to coach people to be able to learn. We need to teach people how to learn. And we need to teach ourselves how to learn. So to me, what is leadership for business agility? It is leadership for learning. Lead to learn. So that's me. I'm part of the Scrum Alliance, certified enterprise coach, and also certified agile leadership educator. And I'm really happy, sorry for the commercial here, that the Scrum Alliance is aware of that, right? It's aware of the importance or how to teach leaders to learn, how to teach leaders that will be nurturing learning environments. That's the next step for us, I believe. That's the next step for us. We're changing the world of work. We're changing the world of work. And we are doing that by changing leadership styles and creating new kind of leadership. So that's business agility. That's all. Short, fast. Questions? No? Okay.